Hey everybody, it is Elsa932 on YouTube. Thank you for joining me. This is going to be episode 6 of The Ultimatum. Please take a moment and like the video, share with a friend, leave a comment below, and please stick with me because I'm wearing this because it's cold. I love a good hoodie. I love a good hoodie blanket. And because the attitudes are getting colder and colder in this season, I'm going to try and wear different hoodies. My first 5 episodes had the same hoodie. What can I say? So I'll try to change it up a bit. But please continue to join me and let me grab my notes. So, episode 6, we go back home after the night out. Remember, the men had a night out and the women had a night out. And all the couples are going back together into trial marriages to talk about that night out. Now, some was some subtle shade, and some was some all out, I don't like you. So, we start off with Scotty lashing out at Zanaya. It was taking it out on her. Because remember, JR thinks that Scotty told Zanaya that he was there for a hall pass. I personally think it's Nick. I don't know why. I think Nick said that, but hey, that's just me. So she said, take a breath, let us calm down. And eventually he did. But he looked like he was ready to crash out like Nick was crashing out about Sandy before. He looked pissed off. So eventually he did, kind of breathe, listen to her. But I didn't like how he was looking at her. He was looking at her like, I'm about to break off a piece of this countertop, okay? So when she asks if you're okay, he's like, That is a pet peeve of mine. If I see you're mad and upset, don't just go okay or Tell me what's going on. Or if it's not the time, say, hey, I need a minute. Could you give me a minute? And then I'll talk to you. But that ticked me off and I wasn't there. So he said, yes or no. Did you tell JR, that I said was there for a hall pass? No elaboration needed. I'm like, dude, calm down. Calm down. You are accusing her before you even get the question out. Scotty, I'm like, Scotty, if it's not you that JR's talking about, why are you so mad, Scotty? Even though I still think it's Nick. Why are you so mad? He's like, he feels like his character is being attacked. Scotty, if it's not you, then why are you upset that he thinks it's you? Be like, nah, man, that ain't me, and let it go. This is immature behavior, Scotty, okay? So I'm glad she was able to bring the strength down in the room. Those of you who know Ready to Love, shout out David. She was able to bring the strength down in the room, and he, was able to listen to her when she told him not to assume that it was her. I don't know how much he was listening, but we gonna see. So they didn't talk about whether they were having communications with their ex, is what I really realized with this scene. Because he's accusing her, but he doesn't know, which we found out later, that Z and JR decided to not communicate at all. So Zanaya just tell him, don't bring arguments home to your marriage. That is not healthy. Tell him, girl. So we see Mariah talks to Nick, and she tells him that Sandy felt neglected. You have not been there emotionally for her, and you haven't been emotionally stable like she finds with JR. Right now, everybody is more emotionally stable than Nick. I'm sorry, Mariah. I'm sorry. Nick says, when an ex told him, this happened with another ex. So, Nick, you're a repeat offender. So, when he gets comfortable, he stopped being emotionally in check. And I'm like, what does that mean? What does that mean? He gets comfortable and stop being emotionally in check. Does that mean they've been seeing your representative, Nick? And now all of a sudden you're showing your true self, which is not emotionally in check? He says, I was like, your ex said that. So this is a repeat pattern. So this is why Sandy doesn't want to marry you. This is all my hypothesis based on an edited produced show. Okay? Sandy and JR. Sandy talked like she, did the assignment that she and Z set out to do. Yes, I told Zanaya this and I said this and I said that. And I'm like, girl, are you telling the truth? JR tells her that Nick said that she was texting him, I miss you, etc. She's like, yes, she told him that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, was this damage control, Sandy? Were you trying to kind of keep Nick on a bit of a leash so he doesn't go all the way off kilter? So Sandy feels like it's a temporary change for Nick, and he changes like the wind every day. She cries in frustration, and she say Nick owns up to it for one day, and then he does it again. So, I mean, how much change is he doing? So JR just basically puts his hand on her knee to comfort her while she's crying, and I'm like, is this real or was this planned? Because if the way she was crying, he didn't get a tissue, anything. He just put his hand on her knee and sat across from her on the couch. I'm watching, y'all. I'm watching the performance pieces. Aria and Caleb, they meet her brother Brian and his wife, and they talk about their journey. They talk about their past and their future, what they want out of family and marriage, and that they can be funny together and still feel heard. Aria says that Scotty wants to be the person she needs, but there's no accountability. And she needs Scotty to apologize without it taking 3 days to get there. And the brother was like, it's really hard for him to see her making certain mistakes. And he feels like Scotty's just like their dad. Wow. That's saying something. Aria, you're picking your dad. So Aria said if he's not better, then she will walk away. We see Zanaya and Scotty. Zanaya has a moment, says a moment doesn't define the relationship. Don't let just one moment derail a good relationship. So Scotty says, it's a skill that she has that she can stop and digest something and move on and do better and do it quicker than he's used to. He said he needs someone who, even though they may be on a different page, is willing to work towards being on the same page. Sandy and JR, they share the first morning walking together, and she says JR has been moody and angry these past few days, and JR is just upset that Nick was brought up. Anytime Nick is brought up, JR is upset. And I'm like, dude, get over it. Sorry to say. But, Sandy's like, I'm not the one who attacked you. I'm not the one who came at you. So I'm just trying to help. Why am I catching strays, basically? He says that she's managing both men and doing a great job. And I'm like, why does she have to manage 2 grown men? Why does she have to manage them? I know what it's like. It's like, okay, Sandy is in this process, but both of y'all were brought to this process. But why does she have to manage y'all and do damage control and doing a great job? You should be like, I'm sorry you have to do this. That you're catching it on both sides. I mean, that would have been my response to him. Aria and Caleb, they exchange books. She wrote him a card. Seems like an emotional connection to me. I like that Z was talking to Scotty about divorce. Like, okay, this trial marriage, did we have a prenup? How were we splitting our assets? It was really cool to see them kind of joke and talk about things that you would have to talk about seriously with your partner. So they said 2 more days before the changeover, and Nick goes to get a tattoo. Nick gets the wrong tattoo. He said the wrong artwork. And I'm like, Nick is so frazzled and out of it. Nick is sending the wrong tattoo to the artist. Come on, Nick. Do better. Zanaya and Scotty. She said she saw Aria at the gym and everyone is talking. It proves to her people just, chatty patties when they meet each other. So Scotty accuses her of talking to JR when she takes her phone into the bathroom. And Z is like, hey, Scotty, don't be speculating. And he brings it up that, okay, this sounds really defensive. He's just grasping at straws to see who did it. And I'm like, Scotty, if you didn't do it, let it go. So she's like, you're jumping to conclusions because you're obsessed with JR. Why did Z say that he, let me do that again. Why would Z say that Scotty's upset with JR? That sent him off. He's like, you can do better than say that I'm obsessed with JR. Is this a back and forth thing? What do you mean she could do better? She's like, why do you care so much? Scotty's going off the rails, and I think Scotty, like Nick, cannot self-soothe. But unlike Nick, he is not spazzing all the way out, going to somebody's apartment. So Z says, you're holding on to your own version of the truth, and it's belittling. She's like, have I ever shown you that this is how I am? So it's like, you're being falsely accused, Scotty, but you're going to falsely accuse someone else. That doesn't quite add up. So Scotty tells us she's too old for all this drama and gaslighting. And she is painting an ugly picture of herself now. No, Scotty. The picture we see clearly is you. I'm sorry. Z said, I've done all these positive things with you, yet you think negatively of me. So Z decides to sleep elsewhere and move out that very night instead of the next day. I am with you, Z. I am so glad you did that. Scotty, I am so happy you did not go looking for Arya like Nick went looking for Sandy. But you seem to be pushing people away, Scotty, and not listening. You can't stop and listen. And then believe it, because she has not shown you that she's running at JR and telling him stuff, then he would have known a whole lot more than just hall pass. So Caleb and Arya, they have their last morning together. They stand really far apart on that balcony. I was like, is this for the camera? They just pour into each other all the positive things they like. And I'm like, these people on vacation. These are not real life relationships. Don't have real life pressures. Don't have the daily pressures the relationship has. This is, I'm here to have fun with you for 4 weeks and then go back to my partner. Come on now. So the couples come back together for dinner before the change back. And that is the end of episode 6. I thank you for joining me. I hope to see you on the next one. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel.